back to the SBP podcast, Mobile Filmmaking. I'm Susie Botello. I'm your host, and you are listening to episode 177. Welcome to our show, Allison Lobel and Diane Foster and Kelly Grant and me, all together here. Allison, you were the protagonist on the Paralysis film, an iPhone shot film, which won Best Film, not only in our film festival here in San Diego, but all over the world. And so what I wanted to share with our listeners is that Allison has written a really awesome horror comedy film. I want you to, if you don't mind, just share a little bit about that film, because we're going to talk about Paralysis a little bit and your attendance, your participation in our film festival here in San Diego, Allison. But I also want to introduce this to our listeners. And so, Allison, when did you start writing this new film? Because I think this film is awesome. And Allison also began by telling us the name of the film.
Hi, Susie. Thank you so much for having me. It's so wonderful to get to talk to you. It was amazing getting to meet you at the festival. It's honestly one of my favorite festival experiences I've ever had. I mean that. It was just such a small, tight-knit community, and it was such an honor for Paralysis to win Best Feature there. So thank you so much for having me back.
You're freaking welcome. What can I say? You guys were awesome. So,
yeah, and you're a blast. Yeah. You host such a fun festival experience. I've never bonded that much with filmmakers at an event before, so that was so much fun.
You're a bunch of humans that are very special. And I always say on this show, Allison and Diane and Kelly, I always say this: it takes a special kind of people to make movies. Once you figure that out, it's one big family.
I definitely agree. The three of us, we are a huge family. Like, we've been working together for years and years and years. We started working together at our acting school. We were in a play together, and we wanted to make a movie. And so my background is writing horror comedy. And so I just decided a way I could put the three of us in a movie together with these crazy demon bunnies. And I wrote this movie during the pandemic. I was just dying for us all to be together on set together, making movies, making magic. And I just imagined making this silly, crazy world in Texas where we're all attacked by this demon Easter bunny. And so, yeah, I'm so excited for the world to see it, because it's also my first feature film I've ever written that's gotten produced. So it's all so exciting.
There is one really cool thing about this movie that you guys stick around for a minute here, because we're going to talk about a few things, but there's one aspect of this movie that we're going to talk to all three of our guests about, which I'm really excited about sharing with you, because you're going to love this. And I think you might be inspired to do something like this yourself. Allison, the part that you played in Paralysis, which is Levi Austin, I almost said Levi Austin Powers.
I think he'd be honored by that title.
Definitely. I wonder who else does that. Levi Austin Morris. Levi, sorry about that. I'm sure he's going to listen.
He will love it.
So he's also in the film, right?
Yes.
He is in the film.
Yeah, I thought I saw him dancing or something.
Oh, yes. He plays a beautiful
parts.
drag queen, and also my personal assistant.
Yes.
Yes. In the church
he
committee.
plays your personal assistant, or he was?
Yes, he plays. Well, he's also my personal assistant in life.
Oh.
I'd like to think so, at least. But no, he's my sidekick in the church committee. And he's
I did not realize that.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he's great in the film.
Yeah. So that experience, I mean, that was the first feature film that he shot with an iPhone. And you guys, I know this was shot at your house.
Were you talking about Paralysis? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Easter Bunny Easter is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, because we were going there. But see, now I don't want to ruin, the surprise that we're going to give our listeners about this film, which is really intense. And I think it's a real benefit for them to listen, because, it is a mobile filmmaking podcast, but there's something about your film that is really cool for mobile filmmakers. And I'm going to take advantage of having you guys on the show to share that. You
Sure,
guys don't
yeah.
mind, right? Okay.
Here's a fun little tidbit, though. You
Yeah.
mentioned that Paralysis was filmed at my house. Easter Bloody Easter was also filmed at my house the following month.
Oh my
So
God!
these two films were filmed consecutively, both at my house.
Yep.
So when our friends visit LA, they should hop on the tour on the
They should go
shuttle
on
ride
the
to your
Hollywood
house.
Star Tour. I'm sure it'll stop in Studio
They will.
C.
I have no doubt.
And as they walk past my house, my dog will bark at them viciously, and they'll know that they're not welcome.
On call when you say action. That's really interesting. Yeah, and also your house was used in his 2020, when we had the pandemic, and he submitted a short little piece for our virtual film festival. And he went down into the cellar.
The tea.
Levi did.
Oh, yes, he did the introduction for your festival.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I remember that.
Because we had to all jump into this virtual thing. Since you brought up 2020, it's like,
Yes.
oh my God. Not that I'm
He was
nostalgic.
living in my house at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not nostalgic for it. I mean, I think we could have skipped it and
We're
been
done
fine.
with that.
Yes, definitely. So, Allison, when you were working on Levi's film, I did not realize that you were a screenwriter.
Oh, yeah. I've written quite a few things, but I've never gotten any of my writing produced. But I've been screenwriting for like 6-7 years.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. It's nice because as an actor, we always have to kind of wait until we're cast in something. Mm-hmm. But as a screenwriter, we can really create art whenever we want to and not wait for anyone to give us permission,
Right. Well, and you've been in a lot of short films as well with Levi and your group.
Definitely, yeah.
So that keeps you busy.
Yeah, I know he's always making new stuff, which is very cool.
Yeah, you guys are very creative. One of the things that I really loved you're like brother and sister in the Paralysis film, but you're almost like that in real life too.
We definitely are.
Yeah, your family. Okay, let's talk about this movie. Diane, this was the first time you directed a film. Right? You directed this film. This was your first
Directorial debut.
Yeah, baby.
Yes.
Share a little bit about that because, the first time you direct a film is not usually the time that your film goes and gets a distribution deal like this.
Yes, absolutely. It is very
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I have two amazing women sitting next to me that I am so grateful to have gone on this journey with, and Allison writing the script and Kelly being a part of the script and also being a producer and one of the main characters in the film. So the three of us really coming from the play and really, going on this journey together, it was so special. And you never think that, oh, okay, we're going to make this first film and directorial debut and all this stuff, and that it's really going to go anywhere. You don't know. But honestly and truly, I believed in this from the very beginning, from the moment that I read the first draft of Allison's script. I was like, we have to make this, and we're going to do this. And I'm still to this day the biggest fan of the film. And believe that audiences are going to love it. So it was a really special experience, but also incredible to, put this out to audiences worldwide. Being the first time that I've ever directed. Extremely grateful for that, for sure. So, we're going to be on iTunes and Apple TV and anywhere that you can rent or buy a film. So Amazon, Google Play, we'll be on like all the Comcast, all that kind of stuff. Anywhere you can rent or buy a film,
okay.
we will be available on March 26th of 2024. And then from that point forward, obviously, if all goes well and everyone loves it, which we totally believe that they will, it is a really great time. I think we really did make this for audiences. The film knows exactly what it is. It is very self-aware. And I think that families and friends alike are going to bring this into their Easter tradition and just watch this film every year because it is so much fun. It's such a great time. And from that point forward, we'll go into streaming and all that kind of stuff. And we are definitely planning on doing some theaters throughout the U.S. right now in different areas and doing kind of screenings like a la Rocky Horror Picture Show style.
I love that. When I read that, I was like, oh my God, that is awesome.
Yeah. And because, the thing is like the film is so much fun, but it also has a lot of music. It has dancing. It has comedy. It has the horror element. So it really is very much like what you would feel and go to when you were in a Rocky Horror Picture Show. And also the Easter element brings in a whole kind of dress up feel that people can come as their Easter breast, dark Easter, glamour cowboy. We're going there.
Yeah, we want to be super interactive.
Yes, super interactive and get people enjoying themselves. That's the whole point of this experience is to be able to be taken away for an hour and a half and just have a great time.
So let's talk a little bit about, so you just mentioned a lot of things and I'm like going, only women could pull this. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Heck yeah. And I'll tell you what, we're women, but we also had a 95% female crew making this film. Mm-hmm. Yes. So we just received the reframe stamp from Women in Film, which is about gender parity and putting women at the forefront of in front and behind the camera. And we just received that and we are just over the moon about it. So heck yeah. I love putting women in leadership positions. We got to do that more often.
Yes.
How did you, so you said you have music and songs and everything. You said, Allison, you were saying that you wrote this during 2020. When was it finalized? And at what point did you guys all start, all right, we got to get songs composed, right? Because these are original songs.
So yeah, I wrote this in 2020 and I actually wrote 2 of the songs that are in the soundtrack.
Huh.
But we got an amazing composer for the rest of the film, Mark Vogel. He put in some incredible, spooky, campy music and wrote an amazing bunch of tunes for this film. So Diane could probably go into more of that because Mark's one of her colleagues and he's just so talented. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I think, so Allison wrote it in 2020. We started filming in August of 2021. And then we spent about a year in post-production. And through that, we created the music and also the sound design. The music was made by Mark Vogel, who is famous for all the music you've ever heard on Full House and tons of television shows throughout the entire late 80s and 90s. And then we had Pekka Thomas, who is a 5-time Emmy Award-winning sound designer for sound design, who did our sound design. And we were very grateful to get both of them on this. They loved the project. They loved what we were doing and they wanted to get involved. And Mark wrote 76 pieces of music for this movie. So it was a lot. And I would say during 2022, we spent a lot of time, about 7 or 8 months, just going back and forth about the themes of the music. Every character has a theme. The jackalope, who is our villain, has a theme. The demon bunnies have a theme. Each character in the film has their own theme. It was really important to create musicality throughout the film because it is also a horror comedy. And I wanted to make sure that that element really came through. The way that Allison wrote it, it was really specific in making sure that these characters were seen in their own way. And we spent a lot of time doing that. And Mark is an amazing collaborator. So is Pekka. So both the music and the sound design were really important to this film. And we spent a lot of time doing it. And it was really fun, just both of them, kind of creating sometimes on the cuff and us going, oh, maybe that didn't work, but let's try this. And they were always willing to shift and go in a direction. And it's so much fun. The music is out of this world and everyone is just going to be singing along to it for years to come, for sure.
The sound is amazing. It was one of the first things that I noticed because my speakers are about half as tall as I am.
Nice.
My house. So like sometimes my screen, even if I'm watching something on my phone, you know what I'm saying? I plug in my speakers because to me, sound is more important than the video as far as quality is concerned. But the dancing you have, where did you shoot these scenes? Where were they? Were they around LA or?
Well, some of them were at my house.
Right.
We shot some in Malibu. Is that where it was? The ranch?
The Sun Valley.
The foresty scenes.
Oh, that was like Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks, yeah, in the hills there.
All over LA.
Yeah, we shot, in Sun Valley.
Yeah.
All of the
We tried to make it. Yeah, we tried to make it like. It takes place in WallyBird, Texas, which is a fiction. Well, it is a real town, but our WallyBird, Texas, is fictional.
Yeah.
And a lot of LA, and sometimes a lot of people do shoot here for Texas because there are a lot of elements that can sometimes look like Texas.
Especially because Texas is so big, it really can look like anything.
Absolutely. So different private ranches and things like that all over LA we shot.
In anywhere you go between, even in Temecula and places like that, there's a lot of ranches.
Yeah.
You also shot so tell us a little bit about the story. I know that Diane, you're the protagonist, right?
Yes.
And then Kelly, you're like her buddy. You're her partner in bunny crime or whatever.
The Thelma and Louise, if you will.
Thelma and Louise.
There you go. I like that. And then somewhere along the way, you meet the bunny slayer,
Megan.
So tell us a little bit about the story itself, just so that our listeners can sort of imagine this. We're putting the link to the trailer as well in the notes, so they can just click on it after the show.
Sure, I'm happy to. So really, this is a story about a Texas housewife who wakes up and she has been having nightmares and dreams, and her husband is missing. And this prompts her to tell her best friend, who is played by Kelly, and it sort of takes Jeannie and Carol, who are our two sort of main women before we meet Mary Lou, played by Allison, onto this sort of mystery tour, sort of a la Scooby-Doo style, where they are trying to find out what's gone on with the husband who is currently missing. And along the way, we find Sam, played by Zach Canner, who is a conspiracy sort of theorist, and he's got a foil hat. He is a lot of fun. And then we end up meeting Megan, the bunny slayer, who tells us a little bit about the jackalope and a little bit of the history of the jackalope. We also meet Mary Lou, who is the head of the church committee, played by Allison, amazingly played by Allison. She is incredible in this film. And her whole entire church committee is hilarious, by the way.
Very Texas.
It's very Texas. Bless your hearts. Very, very Texas. And along the way, we actually have a very large cast. Our main cast is about 7 of us that are these different characters that are main, but all in all, we actually had a full cast of 60, if you can imagine, that created the town of WallyBird.
Yeah, I'm not surprised also about that, because the community is, part of the story. So
Absolutely, it really is. And basically, they go and they go on this hunt to find the jackalope and essentially save their Texas town and save each other. And they find each other. It really does come into they find each other and they find community. So there is a good old, hey, we're friends in this as well. Throughout all of it, where we may have not started that way, the characters do find themselves and they find that they need each other. And I think that was such a great part of the film. And I think in Allison writing this, especially through the pandemic, it was like, we really do need each other. And we have found that of like needing community and really bonding together. And we know that we found that in creating this film, but in making it even more so, that story is so relatable because we all really do need each other in the world, especially right now. That's
the key to everything, is sticking together instead of, going apart.
Yes.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. I do want to point out, just in case I wasn't clear earlier to our listeners, no, this was not shot on a phone. But
No.
speaking of that, let me ask you guys, did you guys just use one camera or did you guys use several?
We had one main camera, so we shot this on a Arri Alexa camera, which is obviously a fantastic camera. Alexa Cha, who was our cinematographer, is incredible, and most of the stuff was shot on one camera. We did sometimes have two cameras when we had really large sequences, especially during Easter Palooza. We had, of course, a lot of people, and we had 65-person cast. So, there was a lot of moving parts, people falling off of the building, bunnies ravaging people. So there was a lot going on, and we needed to make sure that we were not only like fast moving, but also that we were capturing everything on the day, because we only had 17 days to shoot this.
Wow,
so
that's it, huh?
Yeah, it was really fast.
it was really fast.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, fun and adventurous, and the pressure that you feel like, oh my god, that's the best experience.
It was the best experience.
It really
was
was.
so much fun. And we were all friends. Like, I mean, there were new people we hadn't met before, but it was just such a great feeling on set. Like, even though it was really fast and there was a lot of pressure, like, it was just such good energy. Like, everyone is just excited to be there and to be making this movie together.
It was the best set I'd been on. Like, no drama. Everyone got along. Like, things got done when they needed to, and issues were dealt with. And I don't know. I felt like we were early on time sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. Where normally you're late, and like we were early.
Everyone really wanted to be there too. It was like everybody showed up every day with great energy, and they were just like, let's do this. And our mantra every day was like, we need more blood. And that was it. And everyone was just gung ho.
Mm-hmm.
They really were.
I have never worked on a set where it didn't feel like that for me.
Yeah.
And that's whether it was a short film or a feature film. And that's why there's been some filmmakers on the show that have said, oh, you're so lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I know, I've heard of some pretty serious, dramatic things happening on sets. How many people did you guys have as crew?
We had about, I want to say, a 35-person crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we kept it small in terms of like the main, the main people. Sometimes it was only about like, for instance, sometimes we would do stuff in the morning that was like quick things we had to shoot, and that was like 12 people. But once we got into like, like I said, the Easter Palooza and things like that, we really needed more hands. And I think that was sort of like the main thing. But all in all, cast and crew, we kept it under 100 people for sure. And, it was sort of like a well-oiled machine by, pretty much like day 3. It was like, it was that way from the very beginning. And a lot of that came through doing a lot of work in pre-production. We spent a good like 4 months in pre-production of meeting every single cast member, meeting every crew member, just making sure that the energy was really like right on, and that everyone was like willing to go really hardcore for this. Because I think when you do an independent film and you don't have, a lot of monetary backing, and you don't have the luxury of, months and months of shooting, you have to really be a well-oiled machine, and you need to go into it going like, okay, we have 12 hours to get this done, sometimes 14 when we went over 2 hours or whatever. And we're going to do this. And really, honestly and truly, everybody from whatever time it was, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock at night, whatever time we began, everyone was there and ready to go. So,
you really don't
teamwork.
have time to screw anything up when you're on a budget.
No
like that.
And if
way.
you do, you have to be able to change things quickly and be flexible. Yeah.
But
And I think
DeAndre, one of our star actors, he was willing to help with set.
yes, he
Like,
was
he
running
wanted
around
to.
every single day.
See,
even if
I was
he
gonna
wasn't
ask
called.
you
He
about
did art
that.
department.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to say, how many people who were acting, in this film actually pulled through to help out? as well.
Yes. Well, definitely, I would say most. I mean, first of all, Allison, Kelly, and myself were all producing. Also, we were also starring in the film. And
Got
of course,
skin
myself.
in the game, as they
Yeah, exactly. And obviously I was directing, and then we had DeAndre, who played Lance, which was my husband, and he was doing art department. But we had, Miles, who played Eugene, who is Allison's husband in the film. He was also doing our puppeteering of the demon bunnies. Like, everyone truly came through whenever they needed to. And it was like, there was no job that was too small or too big for anybody. Everyone was
the
like,
bunny handler.
we're into it. Allison was the bunny handler at one point. I was like,
the cutest
I need you to
bunny
pick up this
ever.
bunny and also take care of this bunny all day.
You didn't even act that day.
No,
Like, that
I
was your
just showed
job.
up with a bunny.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is my purpose. I will protect this bunny with my life.
You
will
did.
have to say no animals were hurt during
No.
this
No,
production.
no.
They were loved.
They were loved and
I
cared for.
protected that bunny.
The only animals that were hurt were stuffed
Not real.
and not real.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's true.
I will make that clear.
Yeah. The bunnies were
Oh, that
cherished.
is so fun.
Yes.
So you guys had basically a really well-oiled, organized, and creative mayhem machine.
We.
It was like
Yes.
mayhem.
I love the way that you say that. That is brilliant. Yes, that is it. We did.
But that's what happens. This is why I love, starting a film festival like the one that I started with, that Allison witnessed and participated in. It takes a big risk. I was half of my network, people like you guys, kind of went, "No, Susie, what are you talking about? People making movies with a cell phone, at the time." And I was like, "No, but wait, just wait." And it's so incredible to be on set and just literally fall in love with the people that you're working with. But it's a family. It becomes a family. And
gosh,
sometimes you
yes.
go, when is the next one so we can all work together again?
Yes.
We do that.
And we mean to make more.
Oh yeah,
we do that.
are going to make more of that. I love that you say that, and also it's like kudos to you for doing that with what you've done with the film festival, because it is such a huge risk. Anytime you go to do anything creative, I mean, it is magic that has to happen in order for it to actually come to fruition. It's a miracle, actually, to make any film, whether you make it on your phone or you make it with the Sony Venice.
Yeah.
It is a miracle to make it happen, because it is the team that you are working with, because it really is truly a team sport. Filmmaking is a team sport. And when you have everybody in line and ready to go, you can pass that ball and trust that they're going to grab it, and that you're going to be able to go all the way down the line and score that touchdown. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
It really is. So we are so excited to make more of these. I mean, we're like, we can't even sit still. We're like, let's go.
I've already
Speaking
written
of
the
sitting
sequel.
still, I'm having a hard time sitting still myself. I'm literally just kind of bouncing around in this chair. I think this is a pretty cool little segue into this other thing that I wanted to share with our listeners, which is something really interesting that you guys are doing, which I think is something that they can also plan to do if they're not willing to jump in, which it takes a lot to just jump into this. You know what I'm talking about? You know where I'm going with this? Do you know what I'm saying here? I'm talking about, I might as well just tell you because you're going to look at me or say, no, really, we don't, Susie. Franchising.
Oh, yes.
yes.
Oh,
Tell
I
me
like
how
that big
that
word.
idea came about and because talk about, that's a risk because you don't have a franchise. So you have to say, we're creating a franchise, right? So you're putting it out there.
Yeah, I mean, as with many cult classics, usually people come into these things and they're like, I need more. And we're already ready for that because from the beginning, we've had an idea to bring these bunnies, not just in Texas, but all over the world. And so, yeah, it's just kind of, we're prepared that people are going to love this and they're going to want more.
Oh, I'm telling you they're gonna. So tell us a little more about this whole thing of franchising, because it sounds like a big word. It actually is. I mean, I've looked into this. When you're talking about a business doing franchising, it's a big deal. You have to get the government involved and all kinds of things. But in a movie, I don't know how you guys coordinated this. I've worked on films where they basically take out an LLC with the name of the film. Have you guys heard about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it helps with insurance. It helps with all sorts of things.
Yes.
But I don't know. How did you guys decide, okay, we're going to franchise this, and share a little bit about that process so that our awesome listeners can get something rolling on their end?
Yeah, happy to talk about it. So an LLC is very important. I think going through the process of making a film from development to pre-production to production to distribution is a lot. There is a lot that goes into it. And I think a lot of times filmmakers, they're done with their film and they go, okay, what now? Distribution is a whole process. It is a whole beast.
Yeah, and you guys got picked up by Gravitas, right?
Yeah, Gravitas Ventures.
Oh, I totally mispronounced that. I apologize.
No worries at all. You say Gravitas, I say Gravitas.
Gravatar.
Yeah, exactly. But, I think that, we always had the idea and the understanding of we're going to do this no matter what. It really doesn't matter whether or not, honestly and truly Paramount or Sony or Gravitas, nothing against any of those companies. They're all wonderful. We're grateful to be with them. But we have always had the idea that we're going to do this and we're going to take it till people cannot stand Easter Easter anymore. Frankly, they're like, please, no more Easter. And it's because it's so much fun. And that's what going to the theater, that's what going to see a movie should feel like. It takes you away for an hour and a half. And it doesn't matter what that is, whether it is, fun or dramatic or inspires you to change your life in some way. We are all so lucky to do the things that we do as a creative. We really are blessed to do it. So we always knew that we were going to do this as more than just one film going into it. And I will say from a filmmaker perspective, it's very important that you have your T's crossed and your I's dotted, that you understand that there is a business to this and that you are going to go out to distribution. And what does that mean? And all of those things. It is a process. It really, truly is. And it is something that you have to be willing to want to do, because it doesn't just happen. You have to, number one, push for it, and you have to say, we want this. And that is exactly what we did. And you have to
have that process in mind before you even begin production. It's not like, oh, I produced a film, I shot the film, and now I'm going to go into distribution. You kind of have to set that path along from the beginning.
Correct. And we definitely did. We knew that we were going to do this from the very beginning. And I think that through the process, we realized, oh, wow, like this is so enjoyable and so fun. And what we originally intended has now even become way even bigger than we ever imagined, and that people are going to love it that much. And we want to keep doing it because we love it that much. And I think really at the end of the day, that's the give and take of audience and filmmaker, is like, we love it and you love it. And don't we want more of that? So
you're building a community too.
Absolutely. And I think that a lot of people are going to see themselves in this film. They're going to see themselves in the characters. They're going to see themselves just wanting to sing and dance along. There's a lot of jump scares. There's a lot of screams. There's definitely a lot of horror, but there's also a lot of comedy. And I think that, that this is just the beginning of what this world that we've already created can be. And I think it's exciting to be a part of something that is fun and takes you away and you can see yourself in. And I think that that's the most special thing about it.
So in Paralysis, I know that I keep going back to this. Allison, you guys had the dolls, right?
Yes, we did. The Haggerty Ann dolls.
Mm-hmm. So is something like that going to happen with this film?
Oh, that's so funny you mentioned that, because actually Diana was talking tonight about some possible jackalope merch.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it or not, but it's possible there might be something along those lines.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of collectibles and things like that.
Comic
I think
books, maybe?
Oh,
there's going to be a lot of stuff coming down the line.
Yes.
I love what you're saying here, Susie. It's so good because the other thing is that this is a genre movie, and as we know, genre fans love collectible items.
Yes, and so do I.
Yes. So what we do have, which is really cool already, we already have lined up, which is coming out on March 20th, the vinyl soundtrack. It is a vinyl release.
Get out.
I swear.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
I know.
So
We're so
cool.
excited.
So it's kind of cool because it's old school, but it's also new school. It's like there's this new movie and we are doing a vinyl release. So that's happening. It will also be on digital on March 20th, but we're having that. We have a lot of exciting things that are coming once the film comes out and, audiences get to see it. They're just going to fall in love, I think, with the jackalope, and they're also going to fall in love with our demon bunnies. So
That is really cool. So you plan to make more of these films, right?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
It's really cool because a lot of people have said that, have either seen the film already or have seen, the trailer or whatnot, the posters. And they're like, gosh, this is so reminiscent of a film like Critters or something like that. That is so fun. And I mean, obviously that is so great because that film is legendary and has, 6-7 films under its belt.
It's like 20 by now.
Yeah, it's like it's so crazy, but I think that's the thing. It's
People
like
keep wanting more.
they want more,
Yeah.
and like
You can't get enough.
we just I think that the thing is that these characters and this world that has already been created can truly go there. And Allison has already written the second one. We've already talked about where the third one is going to go. So we're ready, and we know that audiences are ready. And honestly and truly, at the end of the day, if we have partnerships that help us, take that onto the world, excellent. But we're doing it no matter what. And I think that's the self-confidence that you have to have behind what you're doing as a filmmaker. And we're doing this. So, we're going to bring it to audiences, and we believe that they're ready for it.
That is so cool. I'm stoked to be talking to you guys. And, like 4 or 5 different things just whisked through my head because what you're saying is so interesting. But first of all, you know what? It's WallyBird Productions, right?
Yes.
And Easter Bloody Easter. Who designed the poster?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I would love to talk about him because he is incredibly talented. So an amazing artist named Aaron Needham came on board, and when we started working with Gravitas and got distribution through them, he came on board. He's done a lot of work with the Gravitas actually. And he watched the film and he said, I'm a huge genre fan. I love horror. I love horror comedy. He said, I love this movie so much. He said, my gosh, audiences are going to freak out of this. And I'm like, I know. I agree with you. And it feels so good to hear that from a genre fan because, obviously you want them to feel that way. So he was really excited. He created both our Jackalope poster and then also our cast poster. And he was just, smitten with the film, and we're really grateful because it's so cool.
You guys were saying something also about this film being an Easter, a need, right? Because Christmas has all these horror films that come out of it, but there's really nothing with Easter, not that I can recall either.
Nope. Allison, please talk about that because that's something we talked about from very early on.
Well, I don't remember who told me this, but years ago, someone told me, if you write something, you should try to base it around a holiday because people are more likely to pick that up because streaming services are always looking for films to push during the holiday season. And so when I was thinking of making this movie, I wanted to make some kind of creature movie because I like writing horror comedy, and I wanted to set it in Texas. And I was at first thinking, because I had one night where I heard things scurrying on my roof, and I was like, that's so creepy, but also funny that I'm scared of something that's definitely very small. So I was at first thinking of squirrels and possums. And then I remembered what that person had told me. I was like, oh my gosh, bunnies. Easter. As a Jew, I feel like I'm the right person to write an Easter film.
Yes.
So, I really was like, this is the thing to do. I need to write an Easter movie. There's not enough Easter films. I love Krampus.
Yep.
And Easter needs its time.
Yeah. There really isn't anything in our lane. And when we were going out to distribution with this film, it's so interesting how many companies were like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, because pretty much every other holiday truly does have its own sort of horror or horror comedy type of film. And we've always known that from the beginning, that we are really in our own lane. And I think this is something that's exciting, because Easter is the idea of like, you're getting together with your family, and there's all these traditions around it with egg hunts and, you know, Easter egg dyeing and all this stuff. And, you know, taking that and sort of twisting it on its head, is exactly what we did. So I think that audiences are going to really, really love it. And it's something that families can actually watch together and really laugh and like be scared along with.
Yeah, this is definitely not that one film that they're going to watch that one time. But this is how I kind of think it ties into, you know, the idea of franchising it. You've got this very unique situation here with this film. Well, like you were talking about the Easter thing. It's very unique. Nobody else is doing that. It's a great film. You're getting people. I mean, this film hasn't even been released yet. It's just the trailer. You guys, when you watch this trailer, you're gonna flip. And so why would you not franchise it? I mean, the biggest benefit from franchising it too, I think, is, you know, the ownership part. Mm-hmm. Because other people, you know, as filmmakers, they get ideas for their films from other films, from watching films. But if you're going to continue to make more of these and creating that franchise, I think you'll have a leg up on anyone else that wants to enter this, you know, oh, look at these guys that made a bloody Easter movie.
Yeah.
Literally, the name is awesome.
It is so good. Yeah. I think the idea, like also to what you were saying, to answer your question about franchising, I think the thing is that if you are questioning that or wondering whether or not you want to do that, or that's something that you are interested in doing, I think that you have to understand that any film that you're going to do is going to take years to go from development to production to distribution. So if you are willing to take that time and say, you know what, I'm going to put the time, the years that this is going to take to actually create and get this out into the world, then you know that this is right. It's like that statement of like, if it's not a F yes, it's a hell no. You know what I mean? And I think that's the idea, is like we're all in on this, and we were like, we're going to do this, and we're willing to put in the time and the energy. So if you believe that, and you believe in your film that you can do that, then absolutely go for it all the way. I say, you know, I don't believe in the word no. I'm like, go, do it. You got this. And just, you have to believe in it wholeheartedly, even if everybody else does not. You have to believe in it, because that is going to make the difference of you actually getting it made or not, and taking it to the finish line, which is through distribution, not just production and getting it done and then being in the edit. You have to go all the way through to distribution. And yes, you can do that.
And I'm going to follow up that and say it kind of ties into the mobile filmmaking thing, that this isn't for just some people. Anyone can make a movie and make this happen. I love how mobile filmmaking makes it so accessible for anybody who has a passion or a dream or like a vision, idea, a story that they want to tell. You can do it. It's really accessible to anybody now, which is so cool.
Are too good now. Like, they're amazing.
Yeah.
So you have to use them.
So this film was not shot with a phone, but we're talking to people who are professional independent filmmakers. So if you're just starting out with your phone, look, Allison you were just talking about 2020, it's 2024, and now you're here.
Yeah.
That happened
crazy.
so fast for all of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think times have changed in how we perceive time. Oh, a film that's going to take 4 years to get from point A to point B. Well, you know what? Look how fast time rolls today.
Our first read through was in 2020. Like
Yeah.
early on in your backyard.
Mhm.
We read the script.
It's true.
That
Yeah.
was the beginning.
So it takes about 4 years. No, it doesn't always take about 4 years.
Not always.
Not for
but yeah.
everyone.
But if you're
Not
willing,
always, but I would say honestly and truly, you know, now through this process and also doing other productions through WallyBird Productions, yeah, I would say it's a good 3 years of your life of
Yeah.
doing a feature film, because you're shooting it, you're in post-production, and then you're in distribution. And that takes time. And you want to make sure that you're doing it right, whether that's through film festivals or that's going direct to a distributor, to get it out to audiences like that. You know, everything good honestly takes time.
right?
So I think that's the other,
Perseverance.
yeah, that you have to be willing to put that time in. And I think, you know, the other thing is like we talk about how, yes, this was not shot on an iPhone. This was not shot on a phone at all. But for us as independent filmmakers, the ARRI was what we were able to utilize. And I think it was the most, you know, it made the most sense in what we were doing. So I think no matter what film that you're creating, I think that's the other thing is like, make sure that it makes sense. Sometimes the phone is the most sensible to do it. Whatever you think that is going to get your film made, that is the route that you need to do. Don't allow not having money, not having technology, not having 30 people around you to do it. You can do it. And if, like I said before, if you believe in it, then the tools that you have at your fingertips, you can make your story. And you never ever know when that story is going to touch someone or even change their life or inspire them to go out and make something. That's what's so exciting about filmmaking at every level, from the ground up to the tip of the top, you know?
Yeah. No, and you've made a film that's so entertaining that, yes, of course. I mean, anyone who watches it who's having a bad day, you've just created a mental health pill. I mean,
That's
Love that.
the goal.
I love that.
yeah, no, it's really amazing what you can do. And my thing right now, I think you're going to inspire some of our listeners, because the whole thing is, you guys, from my perspective, from what I, at the end of this here, you guys have come together before, you've worked together before, each of you works in the industry in one way or another. You know all these people. Use the resources that you have, from the phone in your pocket to the connections that you make. Allison has worked on, how many films have you worked on that were shot with a phone with Levi and the gang, Allison?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I think like 4 maybe. Yeah, I think around 4 films. I mean, he's made so many more than that.
Yeah.
He's just always creating, like every other year he's making a new film. So yeah, and it's amazing. They all look incredible, and none of them felt any different than a professional set. Like it was all, like there was so much time and thought that went into each of those projects that the phone had nothing to do with it being any less than any other set.
No, because the process is still the same as far as the production goes. The camera is different. But
yeah, that's it. And he has all the lenses, and all of them look beautiful. So yeah, it's exactly the same. It's just, it's so much more accessible to him and everybody else who has a phone in their pocket. They can make a movie.
Yes.
I love Levi, by the way. He's so excellent in this film. He plays 2 different roles. One of them is Beatrice Bunny. And he's really fantastic. Obviously, he's an amazing actor. And to watch what they've done with Paralysis and to see all of that is incredible. I was grateful to have him on board on this film
scary.
as well. Paralysis
Sorry,
is
that
scary.
is scary.
I'm scared. Is not as scary.
Terrified.
Paralysis is very scary.
Terrifying.
But I almost feel sometimes like a lot of scary films, unless they're really gory, right?
Yeah.
They kind of have that, because anytime you scream or jump, you always laugh at yourself.
Yeah, it's true.
Or the person sitting next to you. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I love about horror is it's just like, even like the more serious ones, they're all so fun because it's they're called thrillers for a reason. You feel thrilled the whole way through, and that's why a horror comedy, it has the scares, it has the funnies, it has everything that makes it fun and thrilling and just
Remember when the jackalope shimmied?
Yes.
what was that?
So there's one scene where the jackalope jumps out, and one take he shimmied, did a shimmy, and he's in a big scary costume.
And we kept that in the edit, okay?
Nice.
The shimmy is in the edit.
and it's a scary shimmy.
It was hilarious.
It was so scary.
That is so cool. So would you guys be willing to come back after this has gone on and you're ready for the next one?
Yes,
Sure,
would love to.
Totally.
Would love to talk about the whole process too. It's like so exciting to make a film and to obviously have audiences see it and then get ready to make another one. Like, would love to talk about that and the process of everything that goes into that.
And I'm also kind of I want to see how many times you're going to be willing to become a protagonist and the director.
I know. I mean, they say that maybe I'm certifiable here.
Because I know Levi was saying about his
Yes.
he was like, I'll probably never direct and act at the same time.
Here's the funny thing, and Allison and Kelly will tell you this about me. I think that my personality happens to lend itself to this. As they said tonight, I'm more of a Gryffindor. And I think the thing is like, I really love it because I am able to switch those different hats and able to kind of do those things. And I think that my personality lends it to, if I didn't do that, I might be like totally bored. And by the way, sometimes I love coming on set just as an actor and be like, okay, where's the crafty?
Where's my gummies?
Yeah, exactly. But I really love being a part of all the other things. I love working with actors and bringing the best out of them as a director and then being in the edit and crafting the way that the pacing and everything works, because this was my first time doing that and on a feature. And it was so exciting to watch what everybody brought from their talent and who they are as actors, and then sort of crafting that entire storyline for an hour and a half. It was the most incredible thing I'd ever done. And then as a producer, just sort of, being able to like put out fires and making things happen.
I was
like
a production coordinator for this one film, and I'm telling you, definitely that's all you do. You're putting out fires. Somewhere in between, you're creating those call sheets. But
it's so true. It's so true. But I got to tell you, doing all these roles and doing this film from start to finish, I first of all could not have done it without both Allison and Kelly by my side. I love and adore them so much. They are my best friends and sisters. And also, I think just having the, they gave me the self-confidence to say, like, you can do this. And that really meant everything to me. And it gave me the confidence to say, hell yeah, I can do this and take it from start to finish. And that's why I want people to see this. I want everybody to see everybody's hard work and how everybody came together and made this an incredible process. And honestly, I would do it 1,000,000 times again, especially if these two wonderful women were by my side.
yeah, from what I'm getting, directing is now you're your passion right now?
I love it so much. I really
very
do.
good at
She's
it.
a great director.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you guys. I love
Way
it.
she could switch it up. Like she would literally be in costume, do her scene very well, and then give her the monitor, and she's directing the other side of it. Like it was smooth.
I think she has 3 brains in there.
One of my first roles in filmmaking, and it was a short at first, was as a script supervisor. And so I want you to give a shout out to you guys used one, right?
Well, this is the funny thing. So
How did you hold it together?
well, it was interesting. So we sort of did have a script supervisor-ish. It was sort of an associate producer / script supervisor / second AD.
Oh my God. Well,
Yeah,
I
you
could
know,
give them a hug.
Yeah, everyone is wearing many hats.
you know,
Yes.
the thing is I will tell you this. We were very prepared going into the movie. So honestly and truly, even though we didn't have somebody who was like, oh, this is our script supervisor, we definitely were set up. And I think all of us knowing and being on set for many different times of like, okay, we know that we're going to have to get through this and we're going to have this stuff written down and different takes like that. We did definitely know that. But it wasn't a particular script supervisor, as you say. And, you know, that's the thing. That's the thing with indie filmmaking. Sometimes you don't have that. And no matter what, you need to figure out how you're going to make your days and you're going to get through it. And yes, was that hard sometimes in the edit? For sure. It definitely was. But you know what? We made it happen. And that's why I think I want to make sure that filmmakers, especially when they don't have all the things, that they're not keeping themselves from doing it. And I think that's the most important thing in this conversation of like, do not allow the fact that you don't have this certain role or this certain thing to do it. Do it because you love it and you need to tell this story. That is the most important thing.
You've got the family, you've got the support, you've got their confidence. So that always raises your own confidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just sitting there going, okay, you had 100 people basically on set doing all the things. And then you also had wardrobe, who those guys were awesome. Or was that you guys?
No. Do you want to talk about wardrobe or costume design?
Because my costumes are the best.
The best. You do have the best.
I have a beautiful bun on my head for the entire time. But no, costume was amazing. We had Ashley and Allie and Caroline.
Yeah.
And they honestly worked as a team because they all knew each other. So it was very fluid.
Yeah, they were hair, makeup, and costume.
Hair, makeup, and costume. Yeah. And even with the blood stuff, like they were awesome. They worked on the jackalope costume together. So it just all came together beautifully. And they were all friends too. So it all just kind of molded together. And being on set was just like, honestly, hanging out with your friends all day. So that's why we have to make another one.
Yes.
Just because I want to.
That's the point. Yeah.
It is. Like, I just want to hang out with you guys all the time.
It's like, how can we figure out a way to make this a business expense?
Yes.
How do we get paid to hang out together? That is the job I would like.
Well, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, and the costumes were beautiful, especially the church ladies.
Had that Texas feel for
It
sure.
did.
Caroline really nailed it.
She did.
Yeah. Caroline Allender is our costume designer. She was incredible. She also had, help as well, just having a couple different, people help her. But she came from a television background. So she really was extremely organized and, had all these boards laid out of like each character and things like that. And that kind of work, that pre-production work, that foundational work is so important going into a film because you really know what you're getting. There's no question on it. It's like, this makes sense for this character and this makes sense. And having all those things in pre-production was essential. And
every character was so specific.
Yes.
Everyone had a look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Visually, it told their story.
That made sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to help you a lot with the franchise part of this.
Absolutely. And also the Rocky Horror Picture Show vibe of people wanting to dress up as the characters and coming and doing all of that. Like each character really does have their own vibe.
Am I going to see a lot of vibrators?
Carol always has.
I don't know if that was the vibe
Carol's
she
weapon
was
of
talking
choice
about.
is a vibrator.
My friends are like, what kind of movie is this?
A really great one.
A great movie.
That might be a little sexual. Just kidding. It's not.
No.
Maybe a little bit.
Take a weapon.
Well, I guess people will have to watch it to find out.
That's right. They'll have to
Find out themselves.
Little mystery.
Allison.
Yes.
So are you ever going to make another iPhone film or again? I mean, you just hit the big time here.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not so much, I produce, but I'm not so much someone who creates the actual film, but I'm not opposed to it for sure. Like Paralysis is absolutely stunning. And I also want to come back to your festival.
I think, yeah.
I think I'll definitely make more iPhone films in the future. I don't have anything planned right now, but I'm sure I will.
Hey, Allison, I'm going to tell you a little secret. And I'm going to tell you and Kelly and Diane. You don't have to make a movie to come to the festival.
Oh,
okay. Deal.
I love it.
You just
I will be back.
The movies are just what we celebrate, but we celebrate it together as this big community, this big family. It's just so awesome. So do you guys have, now we're going to put in the notes at the very end of this, just go and click on the show notes on the link for the trailer so that you can also start following these guys. We'll put all their Instagram, what are they called? Handles. I always find that kind of funny. So grab your handles.
Right.
And then there's an article, 2 articles actually. I might as well just put those links in there as well. One is from Variety. And the other one, what was it? BloodyDisgusting.com.
Yes.
How awesome.
Yeah. So awesome. Yeah, they did a really cool exclusive as well. I think the other fun thing would be to also put the link where people can pre-order the film.
Yes.
It is going to come out on March 26th, but they can order it anytime from now until then. And we definitely appreciate and are so grateful for anyone who pre-orders the film because it definitely helps us just get up in the ranks of iTunes and Apple TV and being an independent film made by mostly women. We appreciate that. And also, by the way, we have a very diverse crew and also a diverse cast. So we appreciate all of that support, from the ground up for sure.
And you know how else you can support if you really just can't even afford to do, to pre-rent or whatever. You know how you can support filmmakers, guys? Give them likes, retweets, reposts, comment on the things that you like. Don't be shy. Just support, and it comes back around to supporting yourself. That's community building, and it doesn't matter whether it's shot on a phone or what, because look at what happens. In the end, everything scales up as far as the experience that you're having, whether you're shooting it with a phone or not. And then you get to be a part of a franchise, maybe one that you create yourself. I'm inspired.
Absolutely.
I love that. I have to shout out Allison Lobel because, I think it was incredible that we obviously shot the film here. She wrote the film, but I watched Allison make Paralysis a couple of weeks prior to us making Easter Bloody Easter. And I know that was a tremendous amount of work going from doing that movie, heading right into Easter Bloody Easter. So I just want to say for anybody out there who is like wearing all kinds of hats, like honestly, so inspiring because I know what you did to go from that to this, and I will be forever grateful.
Aww.
And so will audiences because they're going to love this film. And as much excitement and you guys have done with Paralysis and how wonderful that film is, like this is the next step in your evolution as a creator. And I'm just so excited to watch that.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Allison.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you, you guys. I mean, this is all I want to do. Like, as much as it was like stressful, I honestly would just be on set with my friends every single day of my life.
Yes.
Even if it meant I was just like tired out of my mind. Like, and I was at the time, but I was also the happiest I'd been. I was so stressed, but I was like, I could keep doing this forever. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to be on set with my friends making movies.
I mean, what else is there, guys?
I don't think
Yeah.
there is
Nothing.
anything else.
That is life.
It's all
Filmmaker life.
Hashtag
Filmmaker life.
Filmmaker life. Yeah, that was the best. No, I'm so grateful. I got to make movies with my friends, and I want to
Yes.
just keep doing that forever.
You guys rock. You're rock stars. You're badass, too. What can I say?
You too, Susie.
Thank you, Susie. You're so awesome.
No, thank you guys for coming together. I know I know that this was a little bit kind of short notice too, but I appreciate you guys being on the show and inspiring our listeners. And we look forward to the film to watch it and enjoy it. I just have to tell you, I'm not a dancer. But I love to watch.
Hey, you got that
dancers.
flamenco on you. Come on.
That's in your blood.
Come on.
You guys are awesome.
I will tell you guys, it's going to be really exciting. We have a tutorial of how to do the bunny hop coming out. And there's going to be a lot of different TikTok dancers, but also myself, because I did choreograph the dance for the film. And we have a tutorial of how to do it because we want families and everybody doing it every Easter. And that is going to be dropping on March 12th. So
That's awesome.
look out for that. And you're going to be able to do the bunny hop yourself and
Oh my
teach
gosh.
all of your friends how to do it.
Yes, Susie. Get ready.
All right, I'll be
your
warning
baskets.
my dog to stay
Grab your
within a
baskets.
radius.
Tell your dog to back up.
Grab your baskets and your comfy shoes.
Hey, by the way, when is Easter this year?
Easter is March 31st. It's early this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're coming out March 26th, just in time for the Easter holiday. So it is literally the perfect film
For the
so that you
kids.
can for the kids and also for families.
kids.
And I'll tell you what, that is
We all
true.
needed a big bloody Easter.
Listen, in my opinion, everyone is going to like this film, and that's the truth. And honestly and truly, you can watch this with kids, and to anybody who is up until 100 years old, people are going to love it. Absolutely, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are awesome. All right. Okay, so if you can make it to the film festival, come on down.
All right.
We'll be
That's
there.
actually on another, it begins on another 26, but it's in April. It's exactly 1 month away from
I
when
love
you.
it.
Nice.
So it's meant to be.
Perfect. It is.
You guys, send me that link so that I can add it to the notes so people can start planning to watch this film. They'll
Yes.
probably watch it more than once.
Yes.
And enjoy it, memorize it, do better than I do at singing lyrics, dance better than me. But yeah, congratulations to the three of you and your directorial debut and your acting
thank you.
and creating a franchise and just being alive. Congratulations, guys.
Thank
you, Susie. What a
Thank you.
pleasure it was to talk to you. Thank
So
you
great
for
talking to
everything that
you.
you're doing, and also just moving the needle forward for filmmakers. How inspiring and incredible you are. So thank you for having us. It was awesome.
You rock. Thank you.